Let me tell you about the day I realized sometimes standing your ground isn't just about you. It's about breaking open a whole system, one seat at a time. I swear, if you'd been in that first-class cabin with me that morning, you'd still remember the way everyone's faces changed when a young black woman, me, Jasmine Carter, sat down in seat 1A and didn't move, no matter how many icy stares, polite threats, or whispered insults got thrown my way. Yeah, that happened. You want to know how it played out? Let me back up a sec. It started with this sharp autumn light streaming through the glass at JFK, one of those mornings where you feel like the world's got a little promise tucked inside it. I was hauling my scuffed Navy carry-on through the terminal, feeling equal parts nervous and proud, in a plain black suit that said, "I belong here, even if everyone else thinks otherwise." That boarding pass in my hand for seat 1A? It wasn't just a ticket, it was proof. You know what I mean? I'd earned it. Every late night, every rejection, every time someone looked me up and down and decided, maybe next year, kid. Now I was flying first class to LA to ink my first international contract. People love to talk about overnight success, but nobody sees the grind, the scrappy years hustling as a barista or living in a shoebox apartment. But here I was, living the dream, at least, until privilege tried to put me back in my place. So I'm boarding, right? Shoulders back, head high, pretending not to notice the little frowns, the subtle once-overs from people who'd rather keep first class looking a certain way. I'm not new to that feeling, but today I'm determined. I take my seat, 1A, window, the so-called best spot on the plane. My mom's voice in my head. Don't let anyone take away what you've earned, Jasmine. Sometimes that's all you have. Somebody who believes in you when the rest of the world acts like you don't belong. I'm just settling in, flipping through the contract on my tablet, breathing in that odd first-class mix of coffee and Chanel No. 5, when everything shifts. In walks Evelyn Stokes, blonde, tall, wrapped in fur and money and attitude, trailing her best friend, Linda, who looks like she's never left a country club in her life. I knew their type the second I saw them. Evelyn's one of those platinum elite types who acts like the rules don't apply if you can just talk fancy enough. And the way she looked at me, like I'd left mud on her white carpet? Priceless. She and Linda start in with the stage whispers, loud enough for everyone to hear, just shy of shouting. "That's my seat." Evelyn huffs. This must be a mistake. She doesn't even talk to me first. She talks about me, to her friend, and to the flight attendant, like I'm not even there. Linda just nods, giving me that little smirk I've seen since high school, like she's in on a joke and I'm the punchline. By this point, the whole cabin's watching. Some of the regulars start chiming in quietly, clutching their designer bags, shaking their heads. One guy leans over to his wife and mutters, "Well, that's different." If you've ever been the only one of your kind in a room, you know the feeling. It's like every whisper stings, but you sit up straighter, just to prove you can take it. Evelyn finally faces me directly, cold smile plastered on, and says, "I'm sorry, but you must be in the wrong seat. I always sit here. I booked it weeks ago." That's when it clicked for me. This wasn't about a reservation. This was about who she thought deserved to sit in 1A, and who didn't. I kept my voice steady, showed her my boarding pass, offered to let the crew check it. Real calm, real polite. But Evelyn's the type who sees that as an invitation to push harder. The lead flight attendant, Greg, comes over, his "let's keep it professional" smile stretched tight. He checks my boarding pass, asks me when I booked it, even though it's right there in black and white. Then Evelyn cuts in, all but demanding he fix the problem for her. The crew looks around, waiting for me to just give up, like so many probably had before. I didn't. Now, here's where it gets wild. The flight manager, Deborah, steps in cool, clipped, already trying to smooth things over. She offers me another first-class seat and a perk for the trouble, saying it'll help everyone be more comfortable. You know, just slide on over, be reasonable. I looked her dead in the eye and asked, if I was a 50-year-old white guy in a suit, would you be asking me to move? That landed like a slap in the dead quiet cabin. Suddenly, everyone's really listening. Deborah tries again, saying flexibility keeps things pleasant. But I wasn't bending. I said, fairness isn't about flexibility, it's about treating everyone equally. Evelyn explodes, finally drops the polite act and starts ranting about how my generation doesn't respect elders, how she'd never have dared to act like this, back in her day. I just sat there and told her, I worked harder than anyone to be here. I'm not giving up my seat for someone else's comfort. I'll never forget the hush that fell over first class, tense, thick, like the air was holding its breath. That's when I pulled out my phone and called Marcus. Now, here's the twist. Marcus isn't just my old college buddy, he's a board member at SkyWest, the airline itself. I knew that if anyone could make them rethink the way they handled this, it was him. I said, clear as day, Marcus, I'm experiencing discrimination and privilege issues on Flight 307. Can you help make sure everyone gets treated fairly? The crew's faces went pale. They knew the name. When Marcus promised me loud enough for anyone in earshot to catch that nobody was losing their place today because of bias, the whole cabin changed. The game was up. The old rules didn't protect them anymore. 10 minutes later, two senior execs from SkyWest walk onto the plane, Brian and Samantha. No smiles, no nonsense. They pull Greg and Deborah out for a private briefing. It's dead silent in the cabin. I mean, you could feel the balance of power shift in the air, for the first time maybe ever. Evelyn's mask cracks, she's trembling, whispering to Linda, realizing the cavalry's not coming to rescue her this time. When Brian comes back, he doesn't sugarcoat it. Favoritism, discrimination, or pressure against any passenger, especially young or diverse ones, is unacceptable. Effective immediately, the crew is suspended pending investigation. Just like that, everything flipped. The people who thought they could bend the rules for their friends, gone. Evelyn tries to cause a scene, ranting about how she'll sue everyone, how she's a platinum member, how she spent 20 years being treated like royalty. Brian, cool as ever, tells her she's lost her elite status and needs to leave the plane. Security walks her out, and all that old money and old privilege goes out the door with her. After that, first class feels different. Warmer, lighter, like the air's finally cleared. People look at me now with respect, not suspicion. One woman even leans over, whispers, "You've given me a lot to think about." Linda can't meet my eyes, but you can see the regret, the second thoughts, swirling around in her head. And me? I'm not gloating. I just feel calm. Not victorious, exactly, just right. Like maybe this time, the world got a little bit better. Samantha, the exec, offers me 2 years of free first-class travel and promises that the airline's training and hiring are about to change for good. I tell her, what matters is that nobody, no matter how young or different, ever has to feel out of place for working their way up to 1A. My voice isn't loud, but people are really listening now. That's how change starts, a little at a time, with someone refusing to move. Within weeks, the story's everywhere. The Jasmine Carter incident, they call it on the news. Policy changes, new crew training, endless debates about fairness and who really deserves a seat at the table or the window. People send me messages, thank me, say they finally believe they can go for what they want. I go on TV, and when they ask how I felt, I just tell them the truth. Believe in yourself. Don't let bias push you out. Sometimes all it takes is refusing to budge. If that helps even one person say no to injustice, it's worth every minute of that flight. And if you're hearing this and thinking about your own fight, about the time someone tried to take your seat, your place, your shot, don't give in. Quiet courage goes further than you think. So what about you? Would you stand your ground, or let them push you aside? Tell me how you see it. Because the fight for fairness doesn't end with me, it starts with all of us, wherever we are, whoever we are.